Hello, everyone. So I wanted to give a quick update on my situation. I have not been able to stream this week very much, or the weeks previous, because I've been just too busy with life. And I'm sorry about that, but at the same time, the project continues. I will do my best to stream more in the future as things get easier. But I have been busy setting up my own company. So that's been also, that has been quite a task. There's so many things to fill in, so many applications, and you have to fill in the same information to so many different agencies and systems. So that's taking a lot of time. I also have been working full time on a project, and I actually even signed a contract to go to Paris and work there for 2 months. And that means that I don't know how it will be when I will be there. If I do have time to stream, I should have some time, at least 1 hour here and there. But I don't know if I can do any 4-hour streams every couple of days. We simply have to see. We've been taking care of this bird, and the bird is getting big enough to walk around and fly. So we will see how that evolves. But she's pooping everywhere, and we bought her a diaper actually, so that she's walking around with that right now. I need to build a cage for her as well, simply because if we are going to sleep and wake up and she's walking around, then that's not very good. She could damage something or poop somewhere, or maybe get into a fight with the dogs. So we need to do something about that. Also, if you saw my post, my kitchen exploded. So I was just cooking, and then suddenly there was like a big explosion noise. And then I tried to turn back I noticed that the breaker had gone because I couldn't turn the thing back on. And so I turned the breaker back on, and suddenly I start smelling like burnt plastic. So the stovetop was completely kaput. We had to replace it completely. The oven was broken since, maybe a year before, but we never had the budget or time to just like replace the oven unless we absolutely had to, as long as we could still cook. But like cooking with only a water boiler and a microwave, it's not as easy. So finally we took the plunge to replace that. So now we have a new oven and stovetop. I also bought a dishwasher, which is the first dishwasher in my life. So, but they couldn't plug it in. And they told me, oh, they don't have the right adapter. And now I have to find the right adapter. Like everything, like there's this spigot thing and it has like a false connector. So like it looks like it comes off, but it doesn't. So they need to have some kind of a splitter for the water, and they didn't have it on them. And, I have to order another servicing on that. Also, I need to service my gas boiler because that has to be done this month. Like every year, it needs to be done. What else? We're getting a new car. So we have a new car that we ordered like 4 months ago, and it's arriving, like tomorrow. And I spent the entire weekend just like 10 hours maybe driving around because I just got my driver's license last year. And I was just practicing in order to be able to drive this new car well enough when we pick it up like tomorrow. So it's been a lot of things going on. But I do have, a couple of hours today to work on this. And I wasn't doing a lot, but I was trying to get the browser build to work. So if we go to Remedy, we play it, and everything works as expected. There is one issue with the text here disappeared, and I'm not sure why that is, but we will get to that eventually. If we try to do the same thing on the browser, So let's open that. It will do this and then like 0. So I was wondering if there was something wrong with the timer. But if we go here and we look at developer tools, we see here that we are having a type error, can't access property, clear color, GLCTX is undefined. And there's some kind of crash after that. So what I think is going on, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but right now, the system that we have designed is that we're having one thread that is spawning everything, like it's creating the memory and whatever. Then it splits off. So we have the main thread is the red one here going to the right, and it handles game and Win32. We have worker threads that are just doing physics stuff and I think pushing. It's just pushing work on the worker threads, from the main thread. And then we have a separate thread here just for graphics. And on Windows, that's working. But apparently, on using WebGL, it's not really possible on a secondary thread, or like at least it's not expected. So I think there's some way around it that you can like switch the contexts. But the point is, you should probably have WebGL running on the main thread. And if you want to do something different, then maybe you need to have a very specific solution. I want to have a very generic solution. So even if there was a way around it, I'm not sure that would be what I would like to do. So I have decided I will swap it around. I will put the Windows like loop. So Win32 window. This loop here, I will be doing on the main thread. So the main thread will be going here right now. And we will be doing OpenGL and Windows there. And then hopefully it should just work on Emscripten, because then the main thread is the same one that is processing WebGL. And then the game is running on the background thread. Now, there is a possibility that this also causes issues because, for example, if Windows is stalling for some reason, because, when you're having to do something like this, if you're holding down the mouse button while trying to close a window, for example, or like if you did it by accident, then the entire like thread execution stalls on that message handle or message handling. And that makes it so that, the graphic stops updating, and potentially if you're having audio running, the audio might also be not updating anymore. So if you've ever like had a game where you try to move around the window or something, and then or resize it especially, and then suddenly you hear the audio go like ba-dum 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 ba-dum, because like it's like repeating the same quarter second over and over. That is what is happening. They are having a circular buffer with music that they are processing, and the moment that you're doing this, you're stalling the thread. So the circular buffer is still playing, but it's not being updated anymore. And then it's just like playing however big that circular buffer is, it's just what is playing over and over again. Because the actual audio is probably being on a separate thread anyway. I don't know if you can have, I think whenever you're playing audio on Windows, you have to use a thread for that anyway. I don't think there's a way around that. but you have your own internal buffer that you're copying over, and then you stop copying, and then suddenly the audio goes glitchy. So the same thing happens for graphics, by the way. So maybe not that it's like going back and forth, but we will see if we will separate this further, but then we can like deal with that in the future. I think in terms of performance, having graphics and message processing on the same loop is going to be no issue at all. Especially like most of the Windows operations that you need to do, they are taking fractions of a millisecond. Like it's going to be 1% of the performance of the entire thread doing its thing. So that's not the issue. The issue is purely that I didn't want to block anything with this, but for now it will be fine. So this is the goal, and then we will see if Emscripten works, and then we will see what we have time for after that. So that's the plan for today. So the way we do this is probably to start here. Because it's here where we are entering the window loop. But before that, we're also creating these special threads, and we're assigning the thread tasks. So one special task, it's not thread draw anymore. No, I might actually just do this to catch any typos. Does the game need to wait for the graphics to start? I don't think so, actually. I'm expecting this to turn red, but it doesn't. I I'm more interested in this one right now. So right now, I think it should be running. Well, it's going to be complaining about the game. This one goes to main. See, if we are creating the threads and the threads start working before we call graphics init, then that could be a nice like boost to performance. And the reason is because usually this graphics init takes like a second, maybe two. So if we need to wait for a second anyway during this call, and we can do other things, then it is beneficial to do this after. But then, of course, there can't be anything related to this that, or there can't be any calls dependent on this existing before. But I don't think so if the window loop goes on the same thread, on the main thread. I don't think there's going to be any issues there. But I guess we'll find out. So of course we're going to have an error here. And this is the infinite loop, which is here now. Okay. So then that's it for this case. Yeah, that's the only one. Cool. So we can get the name back there. Oh. So I think it will be starting, but not running, obviously. Yeah. We can resize everything. That's good. So for the game, do we really need to do anything? Game run. Knit. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. Game setup. Remove. Oh, I already called that. I guess because I need to use it in here. Okay, cool. So now everything works the same, except the game is running on a separate thread. So if I do this, everything pauses, but it's not the game that's paused. It's the rendering loop. So obviously, if we build Emscripten, we're also going to have some issues because we just edited the window loop here. Is here. Hmm. So it builds. I don't expect much more, honestly. Okay, we have a different error. Actually, there's no error. Hello? There's no error. It's just that the game is not running at all. Hmm. What is window loop? Oh, these are in definitions. Hmm. It's not provided by anything. Hmm. Okay. Well, static, that's fine. So I do have window.h. Okay. Now it makes more sense. Yeah, this one I don't know what that is about. We have init, loop, and then these like eternal callbacks. The game should be running on its own from here. So I just need the callbacks for all of the inputs. And then we run the graphics. Window loop, graphics draw. So is this on the main thread now? So it's still completely messed up. It's just printing a bunch of messages. So let's see here. DT target is 0. So when are we doing this in Windows? I'm set up. In game init. So game init is set here, or it's called here. So either there's something wrong with the time function, which might be true. Or it's just never called for some reason. Time setup. So this call is definitely doing something. Am I just not? Am I just missing these? I thought I had changed this. Uh-huh. Well then. That explains a lot. That's what happens when you don't program, work on your project for like 2 weeks. Okay. That looks decent, but there's no game. So the game is running. Why can we not see it? So there's one of two options. Either the game is not running for some reason, like some other reason that we haven't gone through, or we're just not updating the draw. Like we're just clearing, but nothing else. Although I find that unlikely. UI count 1. Well then. These are the actual draw calls that we're creating. If this is 0, then that would explain something. This is 0. So somewhere we're not pushing UI tasks to draw, sort of. Now what is this about? 0 and 1. I don't know if you can see it very well, but we have game UI count is 1 and graphics UI count is 0, even though this is 1 and I'm literally pushing. No? So we're not pushing. Interesting. Why? No mesh? Or no children? Actually. No pointer. Like, that can be true, but it should still go through all the other children. Because there's 4 of them. I could use a debugger. Do you know how? Because I've tried to use the debugger here and I am not able to. I know that I'm building with -G. Do you know how to do it? In the browser, specifically. Because I can build to Windows. And we go to the same place, game UI draw. And we stop here. This is hitting this point. So on Windows, you don't have any bug. This shows up just fine. And the crazy thing is that the game code is shared between both the browser build and the Windows build. So there shouldn't be any difference, yet there is. In Chrome DevTools, I don't have Chrome. I have Edge. So I was trying to do this one time before, but there was something wrong with the memory. Like, it couldn't read the memory and I couldn't step through it because of this. Now, how do I... Developer tools. Hello, not simply Unreal. I am... Okay, this is no good. Do I have optimizations level higher than 0? No. Well, this is no good. My entire computer is being blocked by Edge because of print messages. So yeah, here is the entire build. And you can see -G and -0. Optimization 0. Let me disable some of these prints. It should, that's what I thought, but I couldn't get it to work. Let's try Edge again. No. Oh, I forget to build it. Yeah, this is a different build script, but you see that this is exactly the same, -G and O0. So localhost, if I could get this to work, I would be very happy. But I was trying a couple times. So I figured I'd need someone to help me. Sources. So we can add the folder, I guess. Personal. This folder. No? Hello? Okay, there we go. So if I want to navigate, first of all, this is the JSON. I want to navigate to the C code. Install the DWARF plugin. Well, that didn't work. Is it only on Chrome or is it on Firefox too? Hold on. Where do I go? Extensions, DWARF. C, C++, DWARF. Is it Chrome only? Very well. Maybe that's the reason why, because I was trying to use Firefox and Edge because I didn't want to download Chrome, but maybe I just have to use Chrome. No. No. Cancelled. I want to uncheck this. Thank you very much. Firefox tooling sucks. I've heard people say opposite. I can use it in Edge, but like I couldn't find it. Like that was my thought as well. So like C, C++, DWARF plugin on Bing. Can I just like get it from Google? Maybe for web development, yeah. That might be a good reason. Like I found the there's something here. Spectre.js. I found this to be very useful on Firefox. There's probably a Chrome version of it as well. Compile your application with dwarf debug information included. Run the Emscripten compiler, pass the G flag, open DevTools. Wait, so when they say DWARF debug information, do I need to do more than just -G? Can I get it like this? Okay. I forget what DWARF means, by the way. Not dwarfism. It's a bad acronym. Development in C. Programming, please. Standardized debugging data format. All right. Let's see if that works. So we should have it installed. Right. So we have the page. I want to add the source file. But adding this folder here doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe a source. Check mailbox. Oh. So here's my extra threads, I guess, and they're doing their thing, but open file maybe. So where was it? The game UI update? UI draw? Can we go there? Oh. Can I look at I? So this is about as far as I got before. I could have a breakpoint, but I couldn't actually look at the memory. So what I want to do now, I want to watch I. And it's 0. Hey, that worked. So I guess all I needed was this. The only thing I needed was the extension. Reload the page. Why? It's working. Oh no. So I pressed F5 because I wanted to continue, but F5 is also refresh the page, which is pretty funny. F8. Okay. I can even debug VS Code. So I never learned how to do that. Like I tried it once for some JavaScript, but for C development, like I'm just using RemedyBG. Although maybe I should learn it maybe on Linux. Does debugging on VS Code on Linux work well? Because I need to get started doing that soon. So yeah, let's Let's add E here. It's a real pointer. It has a real identity. Yes? Okay. So yeah, I need to learn how to do that, but for another day. Radius, users, blah, blah, blah. This should be the square that we saw before. So we are stepping in. Whoops. There was no graphics mesh there. Okay, so the point is we are never hitting this. And the reason why, I think I'm getting to the reason why. I need to, hello? So what's happening here is that if there's no graphics mesh, then it just continues. So I guess the graphics mesh is never created on the browser version. And the reason for that is because I'm putting it as a message on a work queue on the graphics thread, and then that's never processed, I guess. And okay, so now I know exactly what's going on, and I will show you. So on Windows specifically, what we're doing right now, Windows window. On Windows, we're doing this, thread tasks, but in WASM window, there's nothing like that. Loop. We're just setting the graphics draw. So because of that, we are never actually processing the things that the game is requesting be created. Now that's a very obvious mistake, but like, thank you so much, man. That was exactly what I needed. So I just need to copy paste this thing in here. Now we need task time. Task time is at boot. It's a global. So this is a little bit strange. I'm having this window loop. I think I have to return it. Hold on. See, this is where I'm not too familiar with Emscripten. So in Emscripten, typically, you are setting something like this. I'm telling, I want to call graphics draw on this time, like based on this timing. So every, 33 milliseconds, please call this and it has to return true or something like that. And because that's all we are doing, that works fine. And we are returning or something, but where is the thread going? This is where stepping through is going to be very useful, I think. Because I'm not actually sure how the processing there goes. Because there's no loop here, you see? This is the loop. So I think we're just entering this graphics draw and looping that and never doing anything else. So that would be, oh, nice. It even has the same hotkeys as VS Code. So we're going to WASM window, window loop. Hello? Why does it not always work? Okay, so we are here. I step to the next line. It's calling this graphics draw on a main loop. And then it just goes. And we're not returning until, this one is being canceled or something. Although I don't know how to cancel it. Graphics draw has to return in 16 milliseconds or something. Well, that's not actually what it's doing. So I wrote this months ago. Let's look at the documentation again. So what does it say? Sets a C function as the main event loop for the calling thread, passing it user-defined data. Okay, so it's a simulation of an infinite loop. It just calls it at this interval. Wait, FPS? Oh, I think I'm doing it backwards. So what this is saying is that it wants an integer at the frames per second, like 60, for example. But I'm passing it actually the DT target, which is 0.03. It's really, really slow. Maybe I should just disable the prints game, because it even if the prints are small, it like fills up the memory extremely fast. Game actual, is that in game here? Time actual, wait. You can leave it at 0. Well, it depends, because I think that I want to have 0 on the graphics, but I want to run the game at a specific rate. Oof, please. I just want to see what it's called. Time actual. Gone. And the other one, UI count. That is in... Where is that? I think we broke it. Set main loop, that gives me delta time. Right. It's just because I need to do something like this. So this is my Windows thing. And what I need to do is I need to run OpenGL or WebGL rather on the main thread, because I don't want to pass it to a separate thread and change the context or something like this. So that's what I did. I changed it to the main thread. I need to process the commands and then draw. And I can do that as quickly as possible. But here you can see we're having Win32. Now, Win32 obviously works different from the browser. So the question then is it fine if I just set up all of my callbacks on the init and then like that's it? I would assume so. What is going on? I think it's just really like running out of memory. Oops. Okay. There we go. Game UI count. Game UI count with an underscore. So this one. Perfect. Okay, now we are not drawing anything else. Can I show graphics draw coded? Do you mean how it looks like in code? I can do that. Oops. Time it actually took. We're not interested anymore. Let's see. Which one? Temp? What is temp used for? This thing. I will just do this. I will define something. I will define something later. I need to go to the bathroom, but I want to see this working. Okay. It's running and it shouldn't run out of memory because of prints. So yeah, I'll be back in just a moment. Okay. So it's running again. It shouldn't be so many issues. You mentioned I can use set main loop instead. I don't think I will do that. However, I think what we actually need to do is we're having this window loop, right? I think all I really need to do is make a static here. Window, blah, blah. It's just like a placeholder for now. And we are having 0 here. Oh, it has to be a void star, right? Bool or what? Void. Fine. And then here we call graphics draw. We will call this something different later. And then here we are doing what we weren't doing before. So this, although this has to be static outside of the loop. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Okay, never mind then. Start frame. We're not doing this profiling. Messages, we are not doing. Client rect. This is Windows stuff. If I don't know if we need the running thing. Probably not. Especially because this is not a loop. It will be called like a loop, but it's not actually a loop inside. So we're doing this. And then graphics draw. Oh. So I think that's all I really need to do in order to run it like the Windows build. No. Let's get rid of this. So the point that I'm trying to look at is in states, and then graphics, this one. So there are two active, but they're not being drawn. There should be 0 jobs found, by the way. And then we draw. Could it just be off screen or something? No. So let's go, I guess, into graphics draw. Now this one should be 0. MD count. 0, yeah. I can connect RenderDoc to Chrome to find out. Might be a good idea. Actually, RenderDoc to Chrome or Edge in this case. I'm learning a lot today. So how would I do that? Is it like attach to a running application? RenderDoc attached to Edge. Disable GPU sandbox, direct composition, startup dialog, launch Chrome with those flags. I don't even know if I necessarily need all that. So again, if I'm opening Firefox and we go to the game, I actually quite liked the Spectre.js. I can capture something and we can see here what we're trying to draw. So here's the clear command and then draw elements. So what are we trying to draw? We are trying to draw this. It's just not showing up. Hold on. So where is it trying to draw it? I know that WebGL is very picky, but the thing is, like, I didn't change anything about the drawing itself. Like, you can go to my website here, and this is the game running in the browser. The only difference is that there's no multi-threading. Like, that's it. So I didn't really change anything to the like OpenGL states. Only the data that I'm trying to draw. So if we go down here to UI array, valid. Am I still having that? it might just be invalid. All right, thank you very much for the help, Abdullah. It's very nice of you because I literally I was struggling to debug in the browser, and that's also part of the reason why I was the way I'm compiling is to make it to be able to compile for multiple platforms, especially Windows, where I have all of my regular debug tools like this debugger RemedyBG, and also, well, obviously RenderDoc. Yeah, that solves a lot of issues. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, we need to figure out what is in here. UI draw. So it is valid. I'm not sure where this is set actually. Oh, it's set right there. MD valid equals true. Only for the UI. Or wait. See, I forget how I did this. So game update. That's only updates. Each individual prefab are responsible for their own updates here. Okay. But here there is no valid. But it's here. So where is it set? Mesh or component? Now where am I doing this? Entity? No. It was here all along. Prefab update. Okay. I forget if I actually need that. It's not important right now. Well, what it does mean is that it should be set here. Position. (500 by 500). That is where I'm setting it in pixels. But I forget if that is normalized 0 to 1 or -1 to 1. I think this is taking care of that. So we're having this matrix. Or translation. Zero, 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 zero. Well, that is not correct. If we go to the same place in source, GL uniform matrix, whatever. This should be the mesh for UI, yeah. If we go there, oh, it's not compiled. Yeah, we go here. No, not there. Here, we look at translation. We can see that there's supposed to be a bunch of values here, such as these. And the fact that they are not is a very bad sign. Oops. So we're trying to draw everything at 0, 0, 0. Or like all the individual things are 0. So that means that it's... I think the vertices are just put into like the same spot. So like obviously there's no pixels if all of the vertices are in the same spot. And that's probably what's going on. The issue is like, why is translation 0 here? Translation is coming from... Let's go backwards. It's coming from all the way here. Hmm? Why? Sometimes I can put a breakpoint and sometimes I can't. Okay, so we're here now. Step, step, step. I just want to watch translation and see what the issue is. Why can I not see it? Is it like not initialized or something? Okay. That is incorrect. So if we look at T here, 500, 500, 0, that's fine. But then M4 translates, if we were taking the same thing on the Windows build, we call this function M4 translate, we get, oh, we do get ones and zeros. Okay, 500, okay, fair enough. So this is correct. One, the second one, third, first, second, third, fourth, and then 500 on those. All right. And then rotation is probably rotation. It's always rotation now. Let's add another one. UID. Position 0. Rotation 00001. So that should be a valid rotation. Scale. Scale also looks fine. Model normal. Wow, it's so nice to be able to actually debug things. Mm-hmm. Orthographic projection. Oof. Yeah. That's your problem. So we go from having a nice 1, 1, 1, 1 to all zeros, dude. So orthographic projection, we forget about that. Where are we doing it? Here. Render projection. Where are we calling this one? In window. No. Window init. What is this? We don't need it anymore. Why are you complaining? Previous initialization. Huh? Oh. Hey, there we go. I pressed it. Nothing is happening. Did I actually press it though? Button clicked. So there should be a message here, button clicked. There's no message. So why is that? I think I know why. The input is completely messed up right now because when I last touched this code, I was using my internal like event system, like a message processor. Now I'm not using any of that. Mouse move, touch end, mouse end, key down. It is printing the keys though. So we're doing this button state. Let's check in Windows. We're doing this, right? So I guess we should do the same, maybe. These things, how do I get them? Hover X. I should already have the code here somewhere. Ah, okay. So I'm already saving it. Oh. OS. I'm already saving it, so this works fine. I don't know if I need this button state. Button state is already in here. Let's see if that works. It might be that the Y position is inverted, but I think I actually can click things now. Okay. We clicked the button and then no meteoroids ever spawned. Interesting. They say verify it's you, but I'm not logged in. So what do they want to verify? All right, let's check graphics again. And let's see, how many do we have? MD count. 8,000. So there definitely should be 8,000 of something in here. Up to 3 minutes. Okay. Get error. Is that me or is it because I'm having errors? No, I think that has to be at the start of the frame or something. I can't click anything. Okay, it's just very laggy. Oh. Uh-huh. This should be one meteoroid. Mm. Uniforms look fine. Light? Maybe not. Texture? It is the correct texture. So something is going right. I don't know. Let's check it out. Mesh translation. And I'm very suspicious about it being at 0. MD. Okay. Like, it's not completely messed up, but the translation definitely shouldn't be at 0. And even if it was at 0, I should be able to see it, I think, because the camera is behind. So something at 0, I should be able to see. If nothing else, the player should be there. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is the player. Let's just advance a couple times. And position translation E. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So the previous one was just a player because I was stopping on the first entity thing. And well, obviously the player is at 0 at start because that's where I put him. So we're not calling rotation, translation. Let's see. Not a number, not a good start. Okay. So where did it all go wrong? That looks correct. Also. I think this being 0 should be fine. Is it the projection again? View projection? Not a number is not a good start. This is coming from here. What is it? State window dimensions. Zero and 0. Not very good values to have when calculating dimensions or projections. How did that happen? So we are setting it here, but only in the init. Why are we using this one instead of what we're setting here? Although I guess I'm not setting anything here. I feel like I should put it in here. Right? Because I'm having a new width and height. That means I have them. So why would I put them somewhere else? Dot. Yeah. Okay. That might fix the bug on Windows as well. Yep. Hey, look at that. It's way slower. It even seems like it's lagging a little bit. But it's working exactly like the Windows build. Hello, KL. Now this is definitely having this. You see how everything is wide? That's something to do with the projection as well. So why is it so slow? Oh, that's no good. Specifically only this one. I don't know if it's lagging just because of my code or because of there's too many things on screen. I guess we can try to remove some of them. Game. Huge value. Yeah. Let's maybe bring it down to 2048. Now there's two of them, and it's still lagging. So something is going on. Hello, Daring. I am fixing my Emscripten build today. So we have gone from having just a blue screen, or even no screen at all, really, to be able to. We have the buttons back, and everything is being rendered on time. But I'm still having some issues. So like, oh, okay. How did that happen? So all I did was I started printing a bunch of messages, and that fixed the lag. Now it's lagging again. So yeah, there's something is going on. Because these shouldn't flicker, and they don't flicker on Windows. Is this graphics engine rendering in the browser, or am I hosting a special server for it? This is rendering in the browser using the WebGL API. Now, this flashing tells me that there's something going on with my game run, is it? Yeah, I think something going on here. And that also would explain why it's lagging. Have I heard about Vulkan? Yes, I have heard about Vulkan. So if I'm doing something wrong with my synchronization here, or my job tasking thing, then that would explain why it's lagging. And then when I add a print, the print is taking forever because it's the browser, right? And that is adding enough time to, I don't know, give the threads a break, something like that. Because this is the same issue that I had on Windows before I fixed it. But I did it in a hacky way. So if I remember correctly, I'm just using this thread yield. Or actually, it might not even be this one, this synchronization. Although, can I run a sanitizer on it? Well, I mean, I can do it on Windows, but it wouldn't do anything because there's nothing wrong with the memory. So I can show you Windows build instead. Oh, it is having this issue. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, I thought I solved it. So I guess it's not game run. It's in game update. Yeah, it's right here. So this is having a bug. You would check the thread sanitizer. I have done that. I have checked everything is fine. The issue is that when I'm getting to the end of this, I have to wait for each task to be done. And I'm also having I'm cleaning up any extra work that needs to be done. And there's an issue with this, and I'm sorry, I can't think. Things in the background. Join the worker threads. Yeah, so I think just what happened was that when I had like 8,000 meteoroids, then it wasn't flashing anymore because it was taking too much time. But now that I'm having way fewer, I'm having the same issue. So let's go here. I'm pretty sure it's here. So let's see what's going on here. I can do something different just to test it, right? I can just say if it's less than some big value, like 1,000. And then in the game, just here. So here's the 8,000 like before, and we are scheduling them on all of the different threads, but there might be one, yeah, right there. You see it? There's like one flickering, so it's barely noticeable. Maybe there's two. So now let's go back to 2,000, but we're having like 5 threads or something like that. So it's going to be less than 1,000 per thread. So now everything is single threaded. And there should be no flickering. And I'm just doing this to verify that it is the job system that is flickering, nothing else. Why not C++? Because there's nothing in C++ that I want to use. What was this? Thread exits. Okay, just some Windows thing. Oops. So I think there's nothing flickering. If I would do the same thing, but I put this down to 100. Now we have the flickering back. On more than one, it's just way more easily to notice. Let's put this at 32. And let's make it 10. What? Which arena is out of memory? Mm-hmm. I think it's because I'm having this. If I would change this also to 32. Permission denied. It's not a huge deal. It's only my code for testing, right? Never mind. I just want to be able to see it like immediately sort of in front of me. Maybe we will put all of them in front of us. So which direction is that? Yeah. So let's do this. Actually, I don't need that. Times 0.4 plus 0.1. I just want to see all of them in front of me. So it's not enough. I could also do the X and Y times 0.3 minus, well, let's do 4 and minus 2. Still not enough. What is this? 15. Yeah, obviously. This can just be like 0.3. Just like in front of me, right? Cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Although that's interesting. Do you see how they're like aligned on these rows? That's strange. There's something I'm doing wrong with the randomization. Because it's supposed to get the next seed. Anyway, not important right now. Actually, is it the same seed if I'm doing like this? Is it not 2 calls? It should be 2 calls because I'm putting it here twice. But I'm not actually sure. I don't know what the issue is. That shouldn't happen. I have to double check what's going on there. But again, another day. First, I want to make way fewer of these, like 20. Yeah, you see this? 3 of them are flickering. And the reason, no, 4 of them are flickering. Or actually, it's going to be more and more by over time, I think. So yeah, if we do this, there's no bug. If we do this, there is a bug. The only difference is this is multi-threaded, this is single-threaded. And we are missing updating. Whenever they are flickering, we are skipping updating them. And when we're skipping updating them, we're also not pushing draw calls for them because we're pushing draw calls every time we do an update. So that is the reason why it's flickering, but what is actually wrong with this code? Hmm? Uh-huh. So I just need to rewrite this code, this multi-threaded code stuff. Why is this an atom? I feel like it doesn't have to be. Search. Increment, read, increment, read, no, write, and increment. I think this is bad. Bad design. I want to use this semaphore that I made before. Game. We create it. So every time I am adding work here, I want to have a sort of timer or incrementer here, right? Semaphore release, I am having 8 tasks. So I am doing that. So let me just explain the logic because I almost forget myself. We are calculating how many jobs that we want to give per thread. So let's say that there's 100 jobs because we are having 100 items or 100 physics objects. They all need to be updated, and we are just slashing it by the amount of threads that we have. So if we have 100, we have 5 threads. Every thread gets 20 things to update. The job is described using this args. So we have the index that we are starting. We have the number of things to do and the array that is grabbing it from. Now this array, it's only reading from it, so we don't need to care about thread safety for this one specifically, I think. Or maybe I'm lying right now. No, it's thread safe because I said so. And I say so because it's in the memory somewhere with a line as. So yeah, don't worry about that. Thread task put prefab update. This is the actual like scheduling of the task. We're pushing the arguments, and it might look like we're doing something weird. We are defining it locally here and then pushing the pointer, but actually when we are going in here, we are copying the entire thing anyway. So that's fine. But the threads don't actually start processing it until we're done scheduling all the jobs. So we are finishing that, and then we're calling release times 8. Yeah, makes sense. Then we do this, and this is doing the same thing as the threads, but this is also what's buggy. So maybe I will just do I will do an if 0. So what context do we need to consider here? Okay, this is doing nothing. This one is just here. So we are doing the same thing from there. Let's do, let's check what the threads are doing, because that's ultimately our reference. Thread work. Maybe I will just do a function here, TFL result process work, or like, I'm running out of synonyms. Let's just call it work. Work pop. And we are doing, is it actually? It's this thing. Like, I don't know what to put here, but you know, panic something. Just do this forever. The big issue here is we need to have a timeout that actually works. So we need to have maybe timeout here. This can have 1,000. Probably static also. Else what? So this is what I'm not sure about, if I can just do a ret 0. Because I want to join the work queue with state. Because I've already planned it such that there should be work for the main thread. But I will do this also in a loop. Or maybe not. Hold on. Work pop, it would return success if there's a task. Otherwise, maybe. Why am I making it in C and not C++? Well, you're correct that I've answered this many times. But the short answer is I wanted to make a project in C, and yeah, that's it. That's the shortest way of saying it. I wanted to use C because I never used pure C before, and I didn't really like a lot of the C++ stuff anyway. Like, I'm not really using it. So I wanted to try it out, and I like it so far. So I kept using it. And probably after this, I don't think I'm gonna come back to C++, honestly. Like, I can use it if I have to for some libraries, because sometimes it's just not worth the effort to avoid C++ if you're having to use some library that is compiled with C++. So for example, the one thing that I encountered, if you want to, well, API. If you want to use Bluetooth on Windows, you have to use their API. And the way you use it is like, basically it's an interface that you have to load. And interfaces is a C++ thing. And while you can get around it, like I'm not sure where to find the exact documentation here right now, but like even though you can use it, it's so much effort, and you just end up writing a bunch of function pointers to do anything, and like it's not worth it. So in those cases, I would definitely still use C++. And I can show you actually. This is an LED screen that I got for Christmas from my wife. And I'm not using it because I didn't have time to write a library or I didn't have time to write code to display anything on it. And this is what I'm trying to connect with a Bluetooth API. But of course, it's kind of like undocumented. Like there's some way that you can like, there's some third-party libraries online that you can find to use it, but it's pretty complicated. What libraries am I using instead of WinAPI when I need Windows specific things? Because you thought, well, that's the thing. For everything that I am using, there is a pretty decent C API in Windows. Now, specifically Bluetooth, that is bad. And I recognize that. But if I want to use most other things, C is completely fine. And if I really have to, I can make my own wrapper library around the C++ code, and then I can just load that. But you know, I am not saying necessarily C is better than C++. Like I'm not trying to argue that. I'm just saying this is my first pure C program that I've written from scratch, and I really like it. And I like the fact that it's not as bloated. I like the fact that everything is running super fast. Like even the autocomplete is instantaneous, basically. And I'm not really using so many C++ things anyway when I'm writing C++. Like at most in C++, I'm using vectors and method overloads and these, what is it called? Like references. And that's it. And like, I don't feel like I need to use C++ just to have those features. Like they're not worth enough for me compared to just using C. I am not using any C23 features. Null pointer is my own definition. So this is my null pointer. I'm using C11, and the only reason I'm using C11 is because I'm using Atom. I think it's here. I'm using this Atomic, and I'm using something else. I forget what. Is align as a C11 thing? Or is it in C99? Okay, align as is in C99. Although you can still add your little arrays. Byte arrays. There's some other feature, I forget which one, that I'm using for C11, and that's it. You know, so like I'm using C99 all throughout, except for like 2 features, and then everything else is my own definition. Now, I was using, and maybe it's still here, I was avoiding standard int. And I was not using standard int for like 4 months until there was some issue with pointer length, and I realized it was just not worth the effort to, instead of having this, I was having, car or something like this. I couldn't do it. It was just too much effort when I wanted to compile for browser. You can use int a:11 to specify bit size. Really? Well, can I do this? That doesn't seem to work. Maybe it's a like C larger than 11 thing. So yeah, responding to the question, I started working on this engine about in January of this year. My first commit, I think, was in December, but that was mostly me just learning how to use Emscripten and being able to like learning how do I even do OpenGL, because I never used OpenGL before. But the engine itself, I started working on it properly in January, and I started streaming in, I think, February. And using it for something specific, yes, I am using it. Well, I want to make things. I want to make things in general. So this is my website, and I uploaded the last working version is here. And basically, I just want to be able to put some projects on my website and also make something cool, like a little project for my portfolio so that I can share it around. See, the thing is, people don't, and they shouldn't trust random executables from the internet. So I think it's very valuable to be able to just give someone a link and they can open it and it just runs immediately. Like nothing special, no installers, no trusted executables. It's just like, okay, you open the link and it runs. And you can do it on your MacBook. You can do it on your phone, like whatever you want to do. So that's what I'm working on. Something like like a simple engine, sort of, for simple projects. Of course, I want the engine to be impressive in a way. So I want it to, that's why I'm working on multi-threading right now, because I want it to be multi-threaded. And I think that's a fair thing to want to do, right? But like, I don't really, being able to write an engine, but you're just loading a bunch of libraries, I feel like that's sort of pointless. So like, imagine that you would be downloading STL, and then you do your, little, you make your Tetris clone or something using STL. Like, okay, fine, that's cool that you managed to download STL and run it and make something out of it. That's good. But it doesn't demonstrate that you actually know how to write the technology behind everything else. So the point of the project is to make an engine where I write as much code as possible myself that is still fairly complex. So I'm doing my own text processing. I am rendering. Well, I am rendering with a graphics API. I'm not doing software rendering, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not using something like STL or Relib. I am writing the like API code myself. And then the gameplay, I'm also writing myself. Multi-threading, audio, I will get to eventually. And when that's done, it will be my, flagship thing that I wrote everything from scratch. Hopefully it will be a good portfolio project and I can make some other things with it because I actually know it. And yeah. I do want to develop something that I can sell, but I also don't want to make something before I understand every step of the process, where like it's hard for me to make something with a half-baked engine. And because I'm making the engine myself, it's sort of hard to, like, it just takes time. But I'm treating it as my learning engine, sort of. All right. See you later. I'm treating it as my learning engine where I'm learning all of these stuff, especially developing for the web, right? Because I've never done that before. Right. Where were we? Semaphore game creates. Semaphore work? No, I did not. Well, now I'm completely, I forget what I was doing. So let's think about it for a moment. In game, why is main completely red? No, this is game. Okay. Is my engine open source? Yes. It's linked everywhere, but you can find it here. Now, when I say my engine, it's still using Emscripten. I didn't want to go, like for my first browser project, I didn't want to go too deep into it because I still need to be able to actually finish this on time. And that's also why I'm not trying to do anything crazy complicated with my engine itself. Like I'm developing all the necessary technologies, but I'm not going above and beyond and doing, some crazy lighting or, realistic whatever. So I'm still using Relib, not Relib. I'm using Emscripten. And then I'm cross-compiling that with Windows using my batch files. So I have build 132. And I'm not using, what is it called? CMake. It's just a batch file. And they're sort of outdated, at least the batch files. So you see here that you have build Emscripten bat and sh. This one, you shouldn't use this. Only the bat one is updated. And also, I might, because I'm the only person working on it, even though you're downloading the latest project, or even though you're taking the latest push, like the latest branch, it's still probably not going to work. Although I think actually I did change that. So if we go to personal projects, I actually do have a memory rewrite. So I think main here is working fine. But if it doesn't, you have to forgive me. Also, if you do download and try to build it, I know that I have to deal with this at some point. But anyway, I'm using my own like tools library. And here you need to switch the branch to experimental for it to work. Otherwise it will not. And the only reason why it's experimental is because I didn't double check. I have like a testing suite that I didn't run. And once I do that and I verify that everything looks good, then I can merge it into the main. But for now, you just need to change to experimental. And the only thing I did really, I think you can see the commit history. Uh, 32-bit compatibility. Because apparently WASM is 32-bit. So I had to do all this stuff, remove this, and do this instead. Union. Just because I didn't know, like this pointer might be a 32-bit value. And I was assuming that it was always 64. So that's the only thing. If you do that, you can download and you can do exactly what I'm doing right now, if you wish. Join the work queue. So I think we can actually just do one work pop and then semaphore wait on state work, no, semaphore game, something high. And we do this how many times? Tasks scheduled. I hope I'm not already in a loop. No. So if I do this, we will immediately be, well, I have to build it actually. We should immediately, well, I can't even build it. We should immediately like soft lock essentially. And the reason for that is because I'm not releasing the semaphore. But that's also because I never added that semaphore release. Count 1. So what is the issue here? We are missing a... Really? Wait. Uh-huh. Okay. Never mind that. Thank you, Mungus. I'm almost done streaming for the day. I just want to see if this works with what I'm working on. The special task count not handled that I know of. Oh. Uh-oh. That's no good. Should be something like that. Okay, let's see if that works. Hopefully it does. No more flickering. Oh, of course, I was too quick. Ish. Give me one moment. Hello, I am back. Blitzo. Welcome to the stream. I actually thought this would be working. Oh. Okay. Definitely, I think something is wrong with the semaphore. Task scheduled 7. I don't think so. Since when have I been coding? Well, the first time I ever programmed anything, I was copy pasting code from the internet in 2002. I had no idea what I was doing. Like Google barely existed. And I was using Newgrounds. And I saw that people were using this Flash. So I pirated Macromedia Flash. And I tried to program some things. And I managed to copy paste some things, like drag and drop or keyboard input for like WASD movements or something like this. But that was as far as I got. Now, since then, I have learned a lot more, but not in a linear fashion. I didn't go to school for programming. See, I think we have to just add another job to the end. And the reason why is semaphore game. The reason why is right here, we're having task scheduled ++. That's only, we are only doing that while job index is smaller than count. But then at the point it becomes, or wait, I have been coding since before your birth. Well, that's how getting older works. Hello, Galactic Past. Like it's this meme, right? So you are a master meme. Yeah, literally this meme. How long have you been coding? And I'm like, 25 years ago was my first program I ever made, or like the first thing I ever programmed. So you must be like the master now. And I'm like, well, the path is not always straight. You know what I mean? If you're asking me how long have I been programming C, then it's since this year. And how long have I been programming doing systems programming? Then that's maybe 7 years. I feel like why are we scheduling 7 tasks, but I don't see an off by 1 error? Oh, it's because 0 counts? Or wait, 0 does not count. You always find coding cool. Is the engine using Vulkan? No, I'm using OpenGL because I'm using WebGL, and WebGL doesn't work with Vulkan. I know that WebGPU is kind of getting started, but it's still kind of fresh, and I didn't want to complicate it. I didn't want to add complexity to myself because it's already pretty complex. Thanks, M. Hersamiktos. Yeah, I'm the coolest guy in the room, for sure. So, count minus job index. What is going on here? Are we just not doing this? I have to step through it. So they're flickering or whatever. We come here the first time. Our job index is 0. We can do 3 per thread. And we have 21 total. This is not larger than the count, so we don't have to adjust it. So we do this, task scheduled is +1. We do it again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 7th try, we are on 18. It's 3. That is larger. It's not larger, but it's the same as count. So again, we add the task. Yes, it's RemedyBG. And now, because the job index is the same as count, we are not pushing more jobs. So how exactly did I calculate that? I'm having 6 threads +1. Okay, so it is 7. So then why are we getting stuck? Sir, you will go now? Well, have fun. I have not tried the RAD debugger. I'm still waiting for the Linux release. You were cooking some packages for your friend, and you found if I do more streams. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be coming up because I need to go to Paris to work for 2 months. And I simply don't know if I will be able to stream there in any real capacity. You know, maybe an hour here or there. Otherwise, I will start streaming more frequently in September or so. September, maybe October, like whenever I have time to just sit down, because I'm in the middle of like starting my company and working freelance, and then I have some downtime, and that's when I will be able to actually stream more frequently. Yeah, I've heard differing opinions. Like some people are like, yeah, it works. Others say everything is like to do. I guess it depends on what you're doing or what you're trying to use. I should try to use it soon though, because I do want to learn how to use it, and it's free, so that's cool also. I don't want to change my tools in the middle of doing something like this, because I'm already struggling exactly with what is the problem here, and I don't want to add another tool, learning another tool in that process. It is the right one. Yeah. So here's my logic with this. I need to just like spell it out. Semaphore, like a semaphore starts at 0, and when you push it, it goes up by 1. And then this semaphore wait function, it tries to decrement it, and if it is above 1, then it does that immediately and returns. If it's at 0, then it will just halt and stay there until another thread comes along and increments it. What I'm trying to do here is I have 7 tasks on my task queue, and I have 6 threads. So I queue all of the tasks, 7 of them. Then I release the semaphore with 7. So that means it goes from 0 up to 7. Then immediately I do work pop. Work pop, as you might have seen, does the semaphore wait. That should return immediately. Because it's already at 7. So, you know, the first thing that comes here, it puts it to 6. And then we get the task. And then I'm releasing this one. Oh, wait. No. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. This timeout can be high. Do I even need a timeout now? Wait, work pop. We don't need this timeout anymore. Yes, I am going to Paris to work. So I will not have a lot of free time, but maybe sometime. And if I have some free time that I will not spend doing something else, then I will be streaming. I can see what I can do the same thing. I haven't tried the rad debugger visualization. I don't know if it would be helpful in real time or something like that. But I can step through here and I can see all of my threads. here and I can see their call stack. So I do have that possibility. I don't know if seeing it in real time would be useful for me. What API am I using? API for what? I'm using OpenGL for graphics. Yeah, cool. I mean, Mhers, like, you can follow, and I will be streaming as much as I can. Now, that might not be a lot this summer, but later, hopefully, it will be more. So yeah, this is 0 and 0. Sam? Okay, well, you have to remind me about that because I might stream, in a week again. And then it's, I will not remember. But yeah, nice to meet you. So yeah, this thing, we need to panic again. I'm kind of running out of juice. Still flashing. So hold on. Maybe we do this. We release it with -1 because we're not using a semaphore for ourselves. Then we go immediately into work pop, and then semaphore game has to. It just has to. No, I mean that I'm just I need to make dinner or something because I was working on this for the past 3.5 hours. Is there like, where is the off by 1 error? It's still, do you see how it's still flashing? So right now I'm timing out on the semaphore every time. And it's still flashing sometimes. Hello, happy slappy face. I am just about done for today. So I'm sorry. I have reached a wall where I can't do this anymore. I can't think, is what I'm saying. But I did most of what I wanted to do today. So like, again, the goal for today was to get it running in the browser again. And as you can see, that is running. Now it's not running well. It's very laggy. And we need to figure out why. Also, as you can see, these are flashing and they shouldn't be flashing, obviously. But it's running in the browser again and it's multi-threaded. So that's cool. I don't have a Discord server. I'm sorry. If I ever get more than, like, if people stick around, like right now it's a little bit too chaotic in my life. I'm just having too many things to do. But like if I'm getting more viewers and stuff like that, and people are interested, then for sure I can make one. But right now, I don't have enough people who would be interested. If I have a profiler, yes, I do. Although this is not a profiling issue. This is a multi-threading issue. So the profiler will say that the threads are running too fast, and because they're running too fast, they are fighting about the jobs, and then they are like getting stuck into each other. YouTube algorithm is ass. Yeah. I am thinking, so I have a Blue Sky, and like I don't have anything against Blue Sky, but it's just there's not a lot of activity here. But I was thinking about, they have this feature. You can go live. And the issue is that you have to micromanage it yourself. You can't just, connect it to OBS or something, as far as I know. Maybe someone made a plugin, like for sure. Probably someone made a plugin. But I don't really have a good like go live notification. And I can't schedule my streams right now because I just don't have that kind of foresight. You don't think many people use Blue Sky outside of the USA? I mean, it depends on the community, I guess. I've noticed for programmers, most people are on Twitter, and I don't want to use that. Discord is pretty good. So actually, if you're on Discord, if you're already on Discord, you might want to join Handmade Network. And then Handmade Network is having a go live. Where is it? Streams. They are having a live stream thing here. And then you also have Moiseko. Twitch notifies. So maybe it's only Twitch. Although I'm multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube, so if you get this notification, then you know that I'm live on YouTube as well. So anyway, this is an application that you can download. It's open source, it's tiny, and you just like set the streamer that you like, and then you get a Windows notification. So that might be an option. Direct messages, what is this? Someone wants to talk to me? I see it. Sure. I can accept you. But yeah, I think that I'm going to call it there. SPQR, thank you for joining right at the end. It's going to have to be another day that I talk to you because I am out of steam. I need to step off the computer. Great timing, but that's how it is sometimes. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. And yeah, I will see you next stream, hopefully.